Zippity bam! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. My name is Kevin Manus Pinnings, also known as Cracked Palantir, and I am your host and game master for this episode 87 of Brise's Tale. And as always, my good buddy Max is here to play the beautiful Paladin Brise. Max, say hello to the lovely people.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Wow, 87. We're going to be like hitting episode 100 in what, like July? Oh my God, or
Yeah, I was thinking
June?
July, early August would be at
Oh,
100.
folks. So at episode 99, I'm just going to disappear off the face of the earth. That's like never text you back. It's like, what's going
What else is new? I mean,
on?
that's
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, yeah, I hope everyone's ready for this exciting session. We left off at a fun place last time, if I recall correctly.
yeah. We'll get to the synopsis, the catch up moment here in just a second. But a couple of points of business. One is we want to give a shout out to our buddy Quinn, who's in the hospital feeling bad. While he is making improvements, FYI, he is. He's still there. He's off the critical list, and we wish him well and hope he will be able to go home in a few days. And also, we're going to be, we'd hope this be a whole month of Wednesdays just for simplicity, but we've got some scheduling things that came up as always, and it's going to be fine. So, our next two streams will be on Thursday. The rest of May, we're going to announce again as a Wednesday month. And so just stay tuned for us. So we'll have that posted on the website fairly soon.
Yeah, April 20th and 27th. Those Thursdays will be the next stream days after
Right.
this.
Thank you, Max. Yeah. So those are our next two, and those will be on Thursdays, and then May will go back to being Wednesdays. We're going to keep trying. I think we'll try to keep Max going like a month ahead, and just letting people know. So, so yeah. So Max, why don't you tell us the crazy development that happened in episode 86 last week?
I know. Yeah. Well, we started the session. I believe we started the session with the pretext of preparing to go to the city of Pesidarius for a quest, kind of personal to Brise about her faith. However, when I talked to my handler at the keep, Athene, before I could even get a word in, there has been they've been investigating the events that happened regarding the cult of the Iron Empress being dissolved in the town of Balabry. So a lot of people were involved in the cult, including some people dear to Miagral, some people at the keep, Lady Miagral. And as a result, I've been asked actually to go and do some spying. So first, I was going to go to Algrit, who's a neighboring lord of Miagral, to spy on or just kind of observe the goings on in his court. But instead, now I am being sent to spy on Ordia, the kind of mysterious individual who we thought was kind of the power behind this cult, or maybe one of the more influential figures. We found out Ordia is actually a what's their name here? That's it. That's a nickname, and the actual name, which we'll find soon, is a goblin on the outskirts of town, who is. We found out that this not only is the Ordia behind the cult, but is also allied with Kralum, a very old, long-standing character, a demon lord, who we banished from this world, sent back to his realm, and he's back trying to influence people, trying to spread mischief and get back at me. Obviously, he is not a fan of what happened while he was imprisoned here in this world, my role with it. So yeah, a lot of old powers kind of coming back and rearing their ugly heads. So I think I got everything.
Right.
Gadraz is the name of Ordia's real name. Gadraz, older female goblin.
Right. We know that she's involved in wooden goods, especially in.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up. If
Barrel.
you,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's a Cooper, which is someone who makes barrels.
Mhm.
My high school principal was named Cooper, and I was like, "Oh, you make barrels," and so
That's why it was such a bad principal.
he really, actually, he was really pretty good, actually. But um, so it's one of these Anglo-Saxon, one of these British last names that come down to us. It just means one who does, right? One who makes barrels, one who makes.
Mhm.
A miller is one who makes mills. I'm kidding. And so yeah. So and how did you find out that? How did you find out that?
Well, yeah, Fraldrim, our court magician for Miagral, who was actually far away taking care of business somewhere in the desert lands, has kind of magically, no pun intended, reappeared, and we just started the conversation talking with them, and they were the one to tell me that Kralum is the has some involvement, behind this. We're about to find out just the extent of what that is. So
Yeah. So
it's late or early, even sundown for sure. I've already had a potion of night vision to help me see in the darkness, and we are kind of at the turnoff to Gadraz's estate.
no, you're at. I remember
We
you're at.
walked into the woods a
Yeah, you're
ways.
at Fraldrum's camp.
Waldrum's camp, right?
Yeah, and she has a fire going, and you're like, "Aren't you worried about people seeing that fire?" And she's like, "No one's going to see this fire."
No one is going to see this far.
So yeah, so that's where we are. And what's the date in game?
Good question. I think it's the 30th, May 30th,
Okay,
evening of May 30th.
so I'm gonna write that down.
So yeah, we left off just at that realization, and so Brise is just like, well, part of her is surprised, and part of her is not surprised.
That's right. So, um, so yeah, so Fraldrum, her disheveled self, she gestures for you to sit, and
Dismount the horse, and
that's right. Yeah, and um,
I'm already
she.
sitting. How much time?
I rolled for sitting, Kevin. I rolled enormously high for sitting.
We were just saying you added a skill for running, right? Do we have a skill for sitting as well?
That's right.
-30 to sit properly.
That's right.
Oh man.
If you read like any books on game mastering or like intros to role playing systems or whatever, they talk about you don't have them roll to walk across a room. Everybody can walk across a room. Well, not in this system. By God, I want to see
Oh,
how well you sit. Let's just.
roll a breathe. Oh man, I rolled a 2.
That's right. So Fraldrum actually sort of walks over to your horse and is just sort of loving on your horse, and if you know what I mean. Sorry.
Thought I did until you said it that way.
That's right. And she says, ever since Kralum was sent back
Mm-hmm.
to his realm, we knew that he would have some issues with you, since he would realize that that since we realized that he was clearly knowledgeable of your betrayal.
Right.
And so I thought it prudent that while I was gone, I would have my apprentices, my assistants, go out and periodically cast demon detection on various areas throughout the town. I decided to center on the more powerful and wealthy individuals in town, because if he's going to get a foothold in this area, then that seemed a logical place to start. 2 days ago, I received a message from Doshrik that he had detected an enormously powerful demonic influence here that had not been here before. So I returned 2 days ago and set up camp here and have been investigating.
Mm-hmm.
I am not happy that this has brought me back when I am not done with my work in the desert, but Mia Grawl is my first chore, my first obligation.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I. Sorry, go ahead.
And this is a threat to her land, her resources.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially it could greatly benefit her if Mia Grawl gains demonic power.
Let's not look at that.
That
It's not
possibility.
yeah.
Let's not regard that as an outcome. Um, so I came back. I don't know very much yet. I can tell you that that the manor, the main manor, is guarded um, at night. There's a patrolman on duty in the front and a patrolman on duty in the back, both goblin. Um, During the day, guards sleep. They have a cottage. There's a series of servant cottages um, around the other side of the uh, shoulder of the mountain. Um, and then she has groundsmen that work, a granger or two that patrol the lands, that watch out for poachers on the land. Um, and she has a small vineyard herself on the side of the mountain. So during the day on the grounds, there's only 4 to 6 people at any one time. The Granger has a cottage not far from the manor. The rest of the staff live in the those series of cottages I told you about. She has other staff in the house, and she does have protections on the house um, that prevents teleport, but I expect those to get more complicated, and soon I doubt we'll be able to even detect anything in there magically.
I do want to stop her and ask how she's certain it's Kralum, or is it just, it's just such a powerful demonic influence we've kind of ruled out any other possibility.
The power of it was my first clue, and my subsequent arts determined the nature of the threat.
Okay.
With a help from a clerical friend of mine who is more skilled in things than I am. I mean, the gods help us if it's more than one powerful demon interested in our little. Well, see, if I say shire, everyone's going to think Tolkien, but a shire is just another word for a county, actually. So I wonder if it's the same root as sheriff, someone in charge of a shire.
That would be out. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
An interesting word, origin.
But yeah. So
okay. So it sounds like we need to act quickly then, and disarm Gadraz, before they have any chance to act. We have the. So I guess I told Fraldrum that we know people admitted to being in the cult of the Iron Empress, which I don't know if she knows about. I bring up, we also know that Gadraz is involved in the cult of the Iron Empress. Hope you're aware of that too, right? I asked her that.
I am.
Yeah.
We but it seems that the Iron Empress, the cult, arose long before Kralum
Right.
had been expelled. So, since he could not regain his full power until he was expelled, that means he is not the influence or influencing power behind the Iron Empress.
I see. Interesting.
But
There was one. Yeah.
that does beg the question then of uh, what other powers we're dealing with that represent the Iron Empress.
Right. Right. If
And
there is more to it.
it raises the very harrowing specter of an alliance between two great powers arrayed against you.
That is discomforting to think about.
Particularly since the Iron Empress was able to infiltrate your dreams.
Right. And I kind of rejected her offer and pushed back against her. And, if she took that as an offense, maybe.
Yes. Now, either way, the situation is grim. There are several things to consider. One is that the Iron Empress is of equal power to Kralum.
That is very concerning.
That doesn't bode well if they join forces. I suppose it's somewhat better if they oppose each other, except that it puts my little county here in the crosshairs. And the crossfire, maybe I should say.
Right.
The other possibility is that it's weaker, that whatever powers behind the Iron Empress is weaker than Kralum, in which case he will eventually take over that creature's, that entity's resources to add to his own.
Right.
Which does not help us.
No.
Strangely, the most beneficial that we can find is if the Iron Empress is indeed more powerful than Kralum and shuts him out of influence in this area. Because
That's an interesting way to turn the tables.
So while the Iron Empress may dislike you, she's taken no action that we can see against you.
Right.
And we have to take that to be a good sign.
I do. I just found it here in my notes. I had brought up the Iron Empress with Kralum before, and so I'll tell Fraldrin right now what he said to me is that he was surprised that that she's still around, and thought that she might be communicating with Verilag. So he didn't really give anything away, whether he knew, whether any kind of allyship or not. But so yeah, I just say that he is aware of who she is for sure, but whether ally or foe, like you said, we don't know still.
Roll for me.
27.
Yeah, and you don't recall, like, that roll indicates you don't recall really what tone he spoke of her in, like
Reaction, yeah.
Right, like how he viewed, if it was a slightly worried tone, that would tell you a lot, right?
Right.
By the same token, if it was an aloof tone, that would tell you something, but you can't.
How about this? I'll go back to the stream that it was in
That's right.
Watch your face.
That's right. Hang on. Let me look at the Iron Fat Man. Hang on. Let me see. Yes, there's his character. There's his game master acting for the NPC.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, discerning the nature of that relationship is important. We'll have to be on the lookout for that.
So she sits down and finally, just leaves the horse to graze, and she sits down and she's asked you basically to recount everything you recall in your dealings with the Iron Empress, to basically just run through it again. And I assume you do so. I assume there's nothing you hold back.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I
and
trust Karandrin.
so, and that essentially constitutes what? You've had two dreams or just one dream from.
Two. One in which I saw like just kind of a reference. Like I saw the dagger. I think she like held the dagger that I then saw later in the real world. Um, and that was kind of an incidental dream. And then another where she directly approached me and um, created these illusions in my mind, tried to persuade me to take her side, or to borrow her power.
Right. All right. She directly depicted for you Crowlam's prison.
Right. Right. Took parts of my memory and used Crowlam's reconstructed, his prison from my memory.
Right. And attempted to bribe you with the resurrection of your parents.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was a pretty intense dream.
Right.
Mhm.
Um, you also came across ogres with her mark,
Right.
and you also came across the undead giants.
Right. Who also bore her mark.
Right.
And there were also references of, her holding power, a temple, that still has power associated with her in one of the valleys um, around Ballabri.
So, um, she tells you then that given the forces she was able to array, it suggests that minimally what we're dealing with is a spellcaster of enormous power,
Mm-hmm.
minimally. Someone, she says, easily the equivalent of myself in skill. Um, Even a very powerful necromancer, um, to have sway over an undead giant, that's considerable.
Yeah.
Um, Ogres can be bought and intimidated with enough showmanship and enough fear.
Mm-hmm.
And so long as you're keeping them fed and feeling important, then a sufficient, even a sufficient showman with no magical arts could probably control a dozen or so ogres.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it is hard to speak um, to everything about their abilities, but the fact that an undead giant was under their sway. Um, but Oshekra reported them reported the undead giants, there being three of them, right? Is that right? And
And
he
two.
fought two, and he fought, killed one.
Yeah. And had to escape, flee from the other. We'll check that eventually. We can keep going, and if I find we can get the number
Sure.
down. Yeah.
But that suggests then that Verlag, who was at that time probably the most powerful sorceress, probably in the known lands,
Mm.
could overpower some of the influence that the Iron Empress exerts.
Right. That's true. Because she was calling those beings to her. Yeah.
It certainly seemed that way.
Mhm.
Now, perhaps Oshekra is wrong, Trim says. Perhaps they were actually on a task that was just in that direction. But um, by the same token, Oshekra is no fool. Oh, did you want to mention your deal with Oshekra? Have you mentioned your deal with Oshekra?
No, I don't want to mention that. I don't know. You know what? I will mention to Fraldrim. I think Fraldrim is someone who should, as much as I'm ashamed of having had to do it, Fraldrim is the right person. You know, I know won't is the right person to tell that. So I'll bring that up too. You know, that speaking of Oshekra,
To my shame,
yes, he himself was able to sway me, and I pressured me into giving the location of Verilag's prison in west of Alamar, Steve Alamar. So he does. He is, you know, hopefully plotting. Well, the way he worded it is to use it for the greater good, right? But I think you probably know him better than I do. Be wary of that.
she's a little dismayed
Yeah.
and looks down in the fire and looks back at you. And she asks you to recount the whole story.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I'll do that, leaving out no details. You know.
you mentioned the carriage, and she chuckles and shakes her head, and she said, You were at a great disadvantage.
Yeah.
The He does all his deals in that carriage for a very particular reason. It exerts a magical influence on the will.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh. Oh man, that makes me pissed. When you're like, are you kidding me?
Well, our viewers, if you haven't learned this about Max, he's a very even keeled guy. It's nice to see him angry.
Like,
Even
what the fuck? Come on. Are you kidding me? Chakra? You've already got spider legs. You don't need to like try to use
Why do you want
underneath.
other advantages?
Exactly. He's
No
already
spider
intimidating
legs.
as hell. Yeah.
She says, it's a very grave matter to hear this. Our list of problems grows.
You know, I tell that I've already, let Farunar and, their hopefully she's told her allies as well. So, you know, they hopefully they can act as well and stop whatever he's plotting or resist it.
Oshekra has made numerous enemies, which must come as no surprise to you. His personality is abrasive and violent and willful. If he learns the secret of that prison, how to open it, how to close it, and how to trap individuals in it, then those enemies will start to disappear.
Right.
He is very skilled at magics of war, of one-on-one combat, of spells that can wreak damage. Our only real advantage is that he is not so skilled at the art of enchantment, which this would count as.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, he is, as I'm sure you've learned from his notes and records, methodical and meticulous.
Yes,
Um,
extremely.
so, what time we have is hard to say, but we have some time before we have to act, judging which of these emergencies, including the matter in the East that I have yet to deal with,
Hmm.
um, is going to be quite a juggling act. Well, I have a proposal then. I think, given the suggestion that there is a temple of the Iron Empress nearby, I should go and keep watch on it. There are more likely to be powerful charms on that place than there are here yet.
Hmm.
I will leave you to follow your instructions from Athene.
Okay.
I will attempt to seek the temple in the neighboring valley and see if it's active, and I will lay wait there and observe. Lay in wait is the expression. Um, um,
Okay. I say that knowing that Kralum's influence is present here, I I definitely feel more uneasy about carrying out this task, but I will. I don't know if there's any other considerations. Um, I guess we don't want to be drastic and arrest Gadraz on any suspicions. Although it seems like we should soon before they can kind of spread any influence of you know they are like, I guess, a vessel acting for Crown in this circumstance. We want to limit his influence too.
Presumably, he'll have two goals. One is to establish a foothold in this region for his own power,
Mhm.
and secondly, to capture and kill or torture you.
Right.
Um, I say we learn what we can about the degree of influence, and then we can make a decision.
Okay.
It may also be beneficial for after what we learn. If you have tasks elsewhere, either that a theme can set you or that your own feet can take you, then your absence from this region would certainly delay and complicate Kralum's plans against you.
Hmm. That's true.
Um,
Can't help it. Yeah.
Conversely, if we find that the temple is um, not particularly active, then I may return to my eastern matter, and we may send you to the temple to collect what holy relics of that era you can
Hmm.
to use as bargaining chips. And perhaps we can recruit the Iron Empress against Crown.
That would be interesting.
Now, what lays in the balance for all of this, unfortunately, is the temples cannot gain wind of another unholy influence in Mia Gral's reign and her realm.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Else they might start to question Mia Girl's competency or where her morals lie.
She generally has good relationships with the local temples and, of course, with her local chapel. She got
Goes to church every Sunday.
basically, she is very
Votes conservative. She's
right. Well, that's not good. But she is very pious. She's known to be very pious, and her reputation, even beyond this county, is that of considerable piety.
Mhm.
But to have two matters of faith that she fails in the spiritual protection of her people could cause her to be reported to the queen and her lands seized.
Hmm.
In a sense, I suppose that would end my task here. There would be no more tension between Algrit and Miagral. Algrit would certainly petition to take over at least some of the lands as an
Yeah.
expansion of his own power. Miagral's son runs the county to the south that actually borders the Dwarven lands. But he would not be considered, being in that same bloodline, he would not be considered to uh, be worthy of taking over this county unless he's willing to throw his mother under the bus and say she was old and spiritually weak, which is not beyond a goblin's.
Yeah, let's avoid that situation. I agree. We'll try to keep the fact of Crallum's presence under wraps.
And that only leaves us then gathering information. There is a. I should roll. Let's do that. Um, the head of initiates at the Temple of Astalon here in Balabry,
Mm-hmm.
a priest of the name of Colzon, has long been opposed to Miagral. It is her main clerical enemy.
Oh man.
And we know that he already must know about the Iron Empress cult. And now, if this matter comes to light, I mean, we cannot tell the temples what's going on.
Right.
Um,
Did you
because
say he's the head of initiates in the temple in Balabry?
mhm,
Or okay.
that would put him, if you, so if you know that that would basically make him head of initiates, would be third in power at the
Okay.
temple. So not, I mean, so high up. And then they would send word to some of their higher ups at some of the larger temples, particularly at Handrock, where the queen resides.
Hmm.
And he would put pressure on them to petition the queen um, to remove Miagral from power, being spiritually unfit.
Hmm.
Now, in some ways, of course, I mean, I'm kind of curious how much it matters to you.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out too. Like, because Brise kind of caused all this, by bringing Crallum to light and making him an enemy, But I don't know, and I know I like Miagral as a ruler. I'm maybe not fond of her, but I respect her. So I wouldn't thinking that her lands would be seized, it would displace people. It would cause disruption, and whoever else comes in her place might not
It
be.
would, I mean, it would,
For
I
sure,
mean,
with Aldrif, right? Aldrif is kind of employed by Miragirl. That would be an upside.
that's true. I mean, those positions would probably remain in place until, uh, you know, you know, unlike say the White House, right, where basically um, a lot of the staff gets, a lot of the administration
Act,
staff,
yeah,
they
yeah.
all get axed. They had because it's contract work up to the
Mhm.
end of the administration or whatever. But here, um, it would probably be months before they got rid of people and things like that. They would
Sure.
be less interested in people at Aldrich's level than whomever came in to take over would find out, okay, who was close to Miagral. And
Right.
those people would get sacked. They might have their land seized by decree and things like that. So that's the bigger
Mhm.
concern. Really, the people who are going to get ousted are going to be the wealthy, which you have affinity for as well.
Right. Right.
Um, but the life in the town will go on much as it has, give or take the reasonableness and severity of the new ruler.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in my character sheet either that would, in terms of like loyalty or in terms of, being not desiring that in, anything that would, like you said, that would make me kind of averse to that. So I guess
Well,
I
so
probably feel like neutral, it's like that would be
well,
bad,
that is to say that your character sheet, your personality sheet, um, won't highlight or diminish how you think a normal person should
right.
feel.
Right. Like I said, kind of neutral, it's like that would be bad if it happened, but not the end of the world.
Well, but I'm saying, given how long you've known Mia Grawl and the relationship you now have, what does that say about
Well,
your
yeah, yeah, Mirgral has entrusted me with a lot and has given me a lot, and so I think I owe it to her, to protect her image,
right?
and to make sure.
And you're now actually in service to her.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so that's what I was saying. My character sheet doesn't really say much about like service and those type of loyalties,
Hmm. So you would feel
But
average
I
about
am honorable, so
right.
honor is one of my kind of guiding attributes. So given that, it's kind of like a duty. It's like, yeah, we should try to protect Mia Girl's interests and, um, not let this happen, right? Make an effort to keep it under wraps. Now, if we found out that Mia Girl was actually somehow, conferring with these powers on purpose, then that would be out the window most likely.
That's an interesting thing, right? Because then you go from personal loyalty to violating the will of the gods.
Right. Right. Ultimately.
And yeah, and that's where you're like, that is the line. You can't, you can't be doing
Thanks everyone for tuning into our Karandrin podcast where we discuss
right.
morality. This is fun. I like this conversation.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. It is what I like about character play
Right.
is that it when it gets complex and you're like, I don't know what to do, and like, I do want a role playing game. I want specifically Karandrin to be something that you can't leave. Just turn off the stream, right, and leave easily. I want it to be something where you're kind of thinking about it a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, getting yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny because character, like an actual character, this would go through their head in a couple seconds, but it's like we have to put ourselves in their shoes and think about
right.
it.
Well, I don't know. I think the tougher questions like this one, they might wrestle with at least this
That's
long.
true. That's true. They might think about it, change their opinions over it over multiple days.
Right.
Based on their experiences.
Um, so,
Right. So I agree with Fraldrim saying, yeah, that would be bad. We don't want to. We want to protect Mia Girl's image. Um, um, you know.
right. You guys sort of make a plan. She's going to go watch for a couple of days. She's going to go watch the temple for a
Mhm.
while. She will teleport back here. She's going to leave you the fire. The fire will not go out and cannot be seen except for very powerful magics.
Okay.
And so,
Can it start a forest fire?
well, you can always test that. Just start throwing wood out. Just
Okay. Well, I'll ask her. Okay. Well, I'll attend it if I can, but if I have to leave, I'll have to put it out.
she's like, there's no danger. I mean, if something falls into it, yes, it will burn.
Okay.
But the fire gives off no light beyond this radius.
Okay.
Um, and it does not need to be fed.
Okay.
Um, so, so she, um, so she wishes you well. She tells you it is now more important that you are not seen. And simply follow Athene's instructions. Tell the guards to pass on the fact that that you've spoken with me,
Mm-hmm.
and my plans to go find the temple. So
Okay.
she gives your arm a squeeze. She murmurs to herself and vanishes. And I say we take this moment and just take a little break, and then
Yeah.
we'll start your scouting and so on. So, guys, just hang with us for a few minutes. We're going to go stretch our legs and so on, and refill our drinks, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. So, thanks for watching right now. We'll see you.
Stick around.
Hi, everybody. We are coming back to you.
Woo.
Thanks for giving us a break, and let's get back to it. Um,
So yeah, we're just backtracking. So I guess I'm gonna leave my horse here by this fire. Is probably the best bet.
yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I'll you know tie him up and make my way back toward the road here.
Um, we'll assume that she pointed out the direction of the manor from your present location, so you don't have to use the um, the road as a guide and leave yourself exposed. Um, if you don't want, I mean, the road might be good to know the layout of the road too. So I'll leave that to you. But so mark what you're going to leave at camp and what you're going to take with you.
Right. Yeah, I have marked what I kind of took with me on the horse ride, which was everything I'm going to take to the because I didn't expect to stop and come to camp, right? So I just take everything with me. Yeah,
Well, my point is,
I
you want to
could
go,
leave stuff here. Yeah,
yeah, because you want to be sneaky and
that's true. That's true. So yeah, I'll leave my backpack behind. With but I'm gonna camp out there, aren't I? Like
but
overnight.
yeah, but you have a camp set up here, right?
Right, I do. So yeah, weren't my duties though to kind of stake out overnight as well?
Yes, yeah, you're probably going to be on a um,
Okay. I guess I'll just be sleeping beneath the stars, which is
well, no, I
fine.
mean, I mean, I'm saying you can come back here to sleep whenever you get tired.
Oh, I see.
This
I see what you mean. Okay. I was okay. Yeah, I guess it doesn't help that I sleep right there because I just wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, wouldn't make sense.
Right. I mean, and the expectation is, and I probably should have been clearer with this with through the NPCs. I should have been clearer. The expectation is that whatever she's going to do, she's going to do at night, right? Like that you want to be awake through the night and then part of the day
Hmm.
to observe her. Um,
Coming.
and certainly in the next couple of days, if she's going to run, although now it suggests that she's not going to run. You're,
Right, right. And so we're
um,
looking for any important people, powerful looking people coming and going.
right.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So we'll, watch her as long as we can, but obviously retire back to the camp when
right. So, is there anything you want to leave to remain, just light and stealthy?
yeah, no, definitely my backpack with all my camping and kind of goods in it. Obviously, take my food and have that, put that in my bag of holding, kind of wrap that up, put it in my bag of holding, and have that um, with me. So otherwise, should be good. Got all my weapons here listed, everything I'll need for that. Got my potions, belt, herbs, and all that. So
Do you want to leave the flail and just assume you're going to go?
yeah, well, I have the flail in my bag of holding,
Okay.
so that is okay. Marked here, so that should be fine.
Okay. So now are we going road or are we going straight to the
Let's
thing?
go straight to the manor. Yeah.
Okay. And let's talk about stead readiness. What are you going to have in your hands?
So I'm trying to sneak, so really don't want to have a spear out. Um, yeah, just really dagger and target shield in my hand is probably the best way to sneak around.
Okay. Um, so give me 2 rolls.
12 and 4
All right. And give me one more roll.
here. So I'm not wearing Miagral's clothes, by the way. Like I'm not wearing the surcoat. I should make clear. So if I get
Oh, yeah.
caught, then I won't, be outed immediately.
Right.
But I do have that bag with me as well with that. Um, So that's a 96.
All right, roll again and add it.
Plus 41.
Yeah, you realize after a while, you're like, I should have come to this by now, based on what
Oh
you
man.
must have gotten turned around in the woods.
Yeah.
And so, do you want to attempt to retrace your steps?
Yeah. Let's do that. 57.
You come back to the light of the fire, and you feel like you now can, attempt again.
Okay.
Go ahead.
3. Problem. What are these directions?
And roll again.
Okay. 54.
You find yourself.
Need some moonlight here. We're burning moonlight.
You find yourself just down from the junction of the road out of town and the entrance to the estate. So now you are on the driveway into the estate.
Okay.
You're like, fine, right? So be it.
Take a walk on the side of the road in the brush.
Yeah, just ready to duck in.
Yeah. I'm kind of keeping low,
Yeah.
All the good stuff. I will have, I've got my potion pouch right here, and I've got to I'm for sure have a potion of invisibility, ready to go in case someone spots me, cries out.
Yeah, you might as well put away your dagger and just carry that.
That's true. Yeah. I'll just have the shield out in the potion.
You have more. Don't you have more potion of chameleon than you do potion of invisibility?
Let me check. 1 potion of invisibility. Oh, that's true. Invisibility is good if it's like someone's coming toward me, but from far away, chameleon's probably better. So yeah, we'll swap that around.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't want you to blow the powerful one when you've got other ones that would work just as well.
Also, how's the potion of night vision holding up? I guess it's been like half an hour. I took it before.
It's probably been an hour, but it's still working.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what level or power they are at, so just to keep it.
So there are periodically pillars with I say lamps, but I guess the lamp in the sense of like a big shallow bowl in which they set things burning. That form of
Yeah.
lamp. It's just sort of
Oh,
like
right.
sort of like the Olympic torch, if you will, right?
Right.
Just
And that's not a brazier, right? Because a brazier is technically coal.
brazier.
Sorry, brazier.
Brazier is something else, my friend. That audio will show you. Maybe those are braziers. We should. I should look that up.
Well, that's what I can't remember if that's like coals specifically, or if that's I don't know.
Right.
That's what I think of. Yeah. Right. Just kind of lights with fire. Snake.
Do you still operate with a ring of protection? Do you have a ring of protection?
What does the ring of protection do? What's the effect? I don't like that you're asking me if I have a ring of protection.
It's
I do have something that reflects spells or absorbs spells.
Right.
No ring of protection specifically.
Okay. I like rings of protection. The way I did them in this game is they add to your DB and they add to all your saving throws. And they just, so they're sort of a substitute, for a shield for wizards. Although anybody can use them. So you cross the posts, and and there is a jolt of searing pain through you.
Damn. Should have
Your
thought of
amulet of is it spell turning?
spell absorption.
Spell
Too.
absorption
Yeah.
shatters,
Oh, what?
but it
No.
clearly saved your life.
Wow.
And there is a sense, a sense of a smell of rot coming from the amulet,
Oh my
and you're
gosh.
staggered. You're having to carefully pluck fragments of the um, of the gem in the amulet out of your chin and so on, and they reek. And there is no doubt that that is a very evil spell put there. But that amulet saved your life.
That would have been the end of Breeze.
Would have
Right there.
been quite possibly. It would have been two D criticals against you.
Well, now
Um,
you know that.
roll for me.
77.
And you think there is no way that Kralum wouldn't have also insisted on putting an alert on this spell when it went off. And you need to get the hell away from here. At
Yeah.
least hide, and you might want to hide and observe, and that way you could learn something. But by the same time, you
Yeah.
may just want to go.
Well,
You
I've
know
gotten
what?
Alani.
You know what? We should back up a moment. Hey, remember that time you memorized the camp so you could teleport back to it?
Oh, yes.
Remember when you did that?
I would have done that, wouldn't I?
Yes. So make sure you jot that down on your list of locations. Um, so, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I've gotten Alani, right? She can observe for me. So I'm just going to jump into the brush as, far away so that I can't see the road. And then just have Alani perched on a tree. And, she's going to be my lookout
Okay.
and observing what's going on.
So, are you gonna like run as far as you can and then stop?
Yeah, until basically the road's out of sight,
Okay.
and just hide where I'm at.
Just make me 2 running rolls. We only have you roll for run when it's difficult terrain.
66
Okay, that's fine.
and 85.
Okay. You're just agile, you're jumping over stuff, you're making good time. You stop. Okay, great. You're gonna wait, Um, Milani is, sitting back, um, and you're just concentrating. Let's talk again about state of readiness, just in case you want to change that up.
Yeah, we'll have no, still shield and potion. Same.
Okay.
Yeah. Shield in my, good hand and potion in the offhand.
Um,
God. Callum knows I have Nalani, so if by any chance they report like, yeah, I saw a falcon, about at night.
well, that's fine.
I know, but it's a funny thought.
So you just move her to a location where she's somewhat hidden.
Right, true. Right.
An older goblin woman appears in the road, flashes into existence. Nalani can hear her very well. She's speaking in goblin. Roll for me.
17.
It's possible it's Ordia. Um, it's um, it's not. You've gotten descriptions of her,
Yeah.
but it's like, from the description, maybe that's
Yeah.
her. She appears. She's looking around. She is, but she's obviously unaccustomed to teleporting, and she's
Yeah.
and she gets this big grin on her face, and she says, "Master, that is wonderful.
Oh,
What a wonderful ability. I never knew such powers existed. You hear them in tales, of course, you hear them in tales, but I never knew they existed in real life. This is marvelous. Yes, yes, of course, to business, to business." And she extends her arms, and two great, just blades of ice grow from her arms. I mean, the things have got to be 4 foot coming out of
my.
her. They cover like it's like it's like a icy greave, and
Yeah.
then the blade, and the blades each have to be 4 feet long.
Huh.
You hear her. I'm looking. Of course, I'm looking. Yes, yes, master. Her eye catches something on your side of the road. She leaps over there, and I mean leaps, like a leopard leaps over there.
Man, I was gonna say like maybe I can take her on if she's like new to magic and all that stuff, but no,
Let
this
me
does
tell
not.
you, the way to take on someone like this is from behind and through their skull.
Yes,
That's the way.
I was trying to think of like this is like Superman, and he was born on Krypton, right? It's like oh he's just a baby. It's like oh he's
That's
leaped
right.
across the road.
He, yeah, the way to take a person on like this is from above with a dump truck.
Yeah.
um, Nalani cannot make out what she's saying. She stooped over. Roll for me.
93.
That's so funny. That's exactly what I rolled.
Ah!
There's
Oh,
no
mine's
question.
better.
There's no question. It's bits of your amulet,
Oh, damn. Yeah.
and you're like, I cannot make a mistake anymore.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Mm-mm. Yeah, this escalated quickly, as the youngins say. We are not messing with a simple spy mission anymore.
Have you seen Ron Burgundy, Anchorman? Have you seen Anchorman?
No, I
Dear
haven't. My
God,
dad
man,
liked Anchorman, but
that's so great. That that went up a couple notches.
yeah.
It did. You got to keep your head on a swivel on a vicious cockfight like that. So,
Oh.
did you set a guy on fire? I did. I set a man on fire.
Is that show still airing, or is that
It's a
done?
movie. It's a movie,
Oh, it's a movie. I thought it was a show for some reason.
dude. It is. It's one of those
Yeah, it's
comedies.
classic. I remember seeing so many, screenshots of it.
Yeah, it's a movie that at any point in the movie, if I come across it, I will sit down and watch the rest. It's just so good.
I know movies like that.
It's so good, so ridiculous. Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island? so ridiculous. So funny, and yet makes really good, ridiculous points, but really good points about toxic masculinity and patriarchy in the 70s.
Yeah,
It does a really good job of that.
right.
Um,
Capturing that era. Yeah.
so, um, yeah. So, I mean, at any point, interrupt me for action.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking like I definitely can't take her on. I really have to just wait till she leaves and then figure out what to go from there. If they like reset, and I mean they're gonna set more wards right like that. So God, I might have to abandon this mission. Mm.
She begins searching the brush and so on.
Okay.
Um, uh, it does seem that she does pick the point where you entered the brush, and she's looking, and she goes, "You're right. That one's broken, and this one's broken too." You're looking at branches and so on,
Yeah.
and she pushes her way through. But after that, she very quickly loses your. I mean, like she goes, I can see footprints, but then like she takes another step and she can't find anything.
Yeah. Okay.
So she searches. She says a bird, and she looks. No, master, no bird, and continues to look on the ground.
I don't. I'm so like. I wish I knew like if I had something to like separate her influence like from Crown, if I could figure that out. But
Right.
no.
In some ways, save her.
Yeah, I mean, I could even just put myself before her and try to plead my case. This is an evil power you're dealing with. You have to
Yeah.
reject it, but that's putting my life on the line. I think I'm. I mean, could I though? I just don't know enough about Gadras to know how they'd react. Their personality, if
Right.
they'd see me or not. So yeah, I think we have to retreat.
I
So
mean, I think you have to assume, given you know, so relative to your own moral position,
mhm.
even prior to her interaction with Crown, you had to consider her morally dubious because she
Right,
was willing to fund a cult.
right,
And in your own view, that is against the will of the gods and therefore spiritually harmful, spiritually dangerous.
right,
It's foolish, if not outright evil.
right,
And
right. Yeah, I
so,
mean, she even probably volunteered to pledge herself to Crowlem,
right,
given that. So I mean, the other side of it too is if I like swear allegiance to her, try to fool her that way, but that's even a gamble. So
right.
you know,
And this religion, and this faith, I mean, clearly, much as D&D has, I've modeled at least this culture's faith on the Greek gods, right? And the Greek gods in the Greek pantheon, there was no moral guidance from the gods.
oh sure, yeah,
That was not the issue. The issue was obeying the gods and doing due service to the gods, so the gods don't punish you. Which is not like, incidentally, if you didn't know, the Mesopotamian gods had moral guidance. They had sin and
right,
all that, and so did the Egyptians.
right.
And that the Book of the Dead that they talk about in the Egyptians is not this great evil thing. The Book of the Dead was a series of spells you used to fool the gods at your time of judgment. And I love that they had a faith in all these powerful gods who were somehow not powerful enough to be duped.
That needs to be a role playing game, right? You have just died in Egypt and you are trying to get in the best way
Right.
possible. Death.
So
That
after
needs
you,
I need to
yeah,
make
so
that happen.
after you died, the priest would come with the Book of the Dead. If you were wealthy enough, I assume you had to be prominent enough to get this treatment, and they would cast spell after spell out of the Book of the Dead, so that when literally your heart was taken out, and I guess taken out of a jar anyway, and placed on the scales, that it would lighten your heart artificially and show that you were worthy of a good afterlife.
Stay away from the cholesterol. You
That's
want
it. That's it.
to.
Cholesterol or
That's
no,
what
we
that is. It's like a bunch of recipes for like celery juice and healthy eating.
That's right. That's right. This is how to build a treadmill. That's interesting. Um,
That's how they built the pyramids.
that's that's right. So they continue
Yeah,
to
I mean,
search.
I'm going to stay, as quiet as I can until she retreats, and then I'm going to have to.
Well, again, you take the opportunity to interrupt me if your plans change.
I will, yeah,
I don't want to run over you with the
sure,
narrative.
sure.
So yeah, she searches. She goes back
Ooh,
to the road.
oh, okay, okay, yeah.
Um,
Thought of an interesting idea. If while she's in the forest searching for me, if I can make my way to the road and sneak toward the estate, then I might be safe.
well, I mean, Stalkide was always sneaking away was always a
Right, but I'm thinking of actually going toward the estate. If
sure.
there's no more protections put on it, I guess. Then I'm just not sure if that's
There's an obvious consequence that you need to think about.
Oh
What's her
man.
next step going to be if she can't find you?
Is to raise the alert and have all the guards patrol. Yeah.
Right.
So
Which may be fine, right? Because that means that once they go beyond you, right? If you're right up by the estate and you can just hide for a moment while they pass you, then great. Especially
yeah.
with Chameleon. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, but you
Oh.
know what's coming next. So I just want you to keep
Sounds fun, but it doesn't sound safe. Uh,
um, roll for me.
49.
All right, I'll give it to you. So you also know that so another thought would be just to teleport to a location within sight, right?
Mhm.
But you have to take into account the possibility that he would detect any use of magic through her.
Right.
You
That's the
don't
only thing.
know if that's going to be true for potions. You just don't know how potions and spells compare
Right.
when it comes to that. But just keep that in mind. If that comes to you to, hey, I'm going to use this magical spell that's, um, not readily, the effect is not readily visible, right? Like a
Mhm.
teleport. Keep him, you do keep in mind, there's a chance that his sensory abilities are simply much greater than I can conceive
Right.
of.
And on that note, demonic senses, right? I'm not going to risk hiding out by the manor, given Crown's abilities, and how well he knows me, right?
Right.
So,
Although, I know it's sort of, again, there's a lot of unknowns.
right.
You don't need to be within sight of the manor to see who's coming and going.
That's
That
true.
could be, you know,
Up
probably
the
not
road.
100, probably not 100 yards, but 50 yards. You could be quite a bit from the front door.
Yeah.
So, but you make that call as you see fit.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, no, I think the best bet is to retreat back to the camp once they're out of sight down the road.
but if that's going to be the case, then what good are you?
Right, that too. Well, I mean, I guess I would go back to the guards then and um,
I'd say
tell
things
them.
got too hot.
Well, I mean, the reality of it is, yeah, she is using demonic powers, and I think so. My thought is like if we alert Miagral to that, I don't know what the repercussions would be, but I mean, I have a way to prove it because um, I have like items that should. In fact, you know what? Let me do this. If I pull out, um, well, I mean, Fraldrum has ways to do that, demonic detection, right? So
Right.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what role I should play in this. It's kind of hard to know. I just kind of want to protect my own skin right now. So, um,
But
yeah.
what about your duty to your gods? And screw them.
Okay. What about him?
Like, I want to change professions, and I am now just a fighter. Thank you. I want to
That would be
renounce my faith.
for sure. Um, you know what? Let's do this. We'll um, we'll tail them on their way back, to the estate from a large distance. Have Nalani kind of follow them and try to eavesdrop, and then maybe we'll hide out. Like we said, somewhere 50 yards from the estate, somewhere where it'd be.
Oh, that's true. If you put her 50 yards, you can be 100 yards away.
Right, exactly. So let's do that. Let's the mission's still on. But we're just going to be maybe a little more cautious.
Right.
So we'll so she goes back to the road, right? And
Crosses
then
the road
start. Okay,
and begins searching there in case there's evidence of, in case you were just knocked into the brush
right.
and then came back and then ran the other way.
So
They,
I'll start creeping toward the road. Um,
well, she's
just so I
still
can.
very near. I mean, I don't think you want to move
Okay,
in.
then I'll wait. Yeah, then I'll
Yeah.
wait until.
She returns.
Sheesh.
Oh, again, she says, yes, yes, again. And they vanish. They vanish. Wait, that's not a self
They.
identification issue. But the female goblin who also has a piggyback demonic presence. That they teleports back. And um, um,
Mm-hmm.
and so no tailing for you, but now you can begin
Okay.
headed that way. I assume you want Nalani well in front now.
Yes. And, I'm going to creep back to the road, still, potion of chameleon in hand. And we're just going to try to detect magic, honestly, on the road before me, to see if any more, traps are at least immediately there.
Roll for me.
18.
I mean, why not just stay off the road?
Well, right. I mean, there could be traps off the road, right? I just want to cast detect magic to see what else might be
All
there.
right.
I
So
don't
then,
want to assume anything, right, about where the traps are.
well, the thing is that the road is a bottleneck. That's where traffic comes and goes,
Right.
right? So in all likelihood, that trap was not set for you. In all likelihood,
Uh, that's fair. They aren't expecting thieves like coming through the forest. They're expecting, yeah,
they're expecting Mia Grohl's guards and some
right,
temple guards, paladins and clerics, to come seize their property.
right.
And that was intended to slay, God help us, one or more of them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thanks for putting that because that makes a lot more sense.
That's why the woods are safer because they can't trap the whole woods.
Right. Yeah, and purposefully detect the magic's radius is very small. So then what we'll do, yeah, we'll stick to the woods, be sneaky,
Right.
um, and just avoid the road
The
and
woods
have
here are
Nalani
fairly
100 feet
sparse.
ahead.
I'm sorry, go
Okay,
ahead. I'm sorry.
have Nalani, good 100 feet ahead.
Yeah.
Scout out. Whew. God, I didn't write any of that down. I need to catch up on notes a little bit
Well,
here.
that's fine. What I'll do, I'll just roll and give you your progress
Yeah. Okay.
through the woods. So I'll take care of all of your rolls while you type. Um, oh man, I did not think about their reasoning. Someone got hit by that, but did not die, which means they think someone very powerful must be out there.
Well, right. I mean, the amulet, right? It was a powerful item. It could be someone higher up from the temple.
Right. But why send one person? Who would send one person?
That's
Who would
true.
that person be? Interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting. All right. Sorry. Um, the woods are sparse.
Stop making the enemies intelligent.
I know. It's a real pain in the ass, isn't it? Um, Going is very smooth, no problem. Stalk hide is not difficult. You can dash tree to tree, no problem, and not there's not so much brush that you make noise, but there's enough brush where you can kneel down and find cover fairly quickly. Just the rocky ground in these mountainous areas, it gives you some some sparsity of vegetation, patchy vegetation. So um, so the you make it to the you make you get Nalani to the edge of within sight of the manor, and you sort of choose where she needs to go so that you feel like you could identify a face
Right.
with her quality of vision, which is quite a distance away, thankfully. Um, the night guard is not present in the front. Hmm. Huh. After a long while, no one comes or goes. Your adrenaline's helping you stay awake. You'd be asleep by now. Um, the night guard comes out after a while.
All right.
There are braziers, or these lamps, as we call them, um, that are lit on either side of the entryway. It's a broad stairway that goes up to the front door. They're lit. There are torches, unlit torches set on sconces, like three of them, and that is probably to take and light in the brazier and accompany people inside, or take people around to a different entrance, whatever. They're just there to be used at night. Um, the estate is very nice. The manor is very nice. Um, it's a granite building, 4 stories, 2 wings on either side of the main house. The guard you would expect to be sort of, bored, and this is ho hum duty, but he looks just sort of perplexed, like he's working something over. Clearly, something unusual has happened at the house just recently.
Right.
One by one, the lights come on all the rooms. They were on in some of the rooms, but almost every light in the front now is lit, and eventually all of them are lit.
Okay.
You can see staff moving through. They're predominantly goblin, not surprisingly. And but this is well past anyone's bedtime.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I should looking through my spells and equipment here if I have anything extra, or I should be good. I think the potion's the best I got in case I get spotted or people start
Right.
coming.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna sit tight,
Yeah. It's been a long time now.
Okay.
The guard also is reacting to the fact. I should back up and say the guard is reacting to the fact that every light in the house is lit.
Right. He's like,
And like on his walk, like he is like looking in. He waves at one servant and gestures to the light, trying to get an answer.
Right.
They communicate through the window, like mouthing to each other through the window. It must be, but you can't really make. Nalani cannot make out the words without getting closer. Do you
Yeah.
want her to get closer?
No.
Okay.
No.
That was not a difficult decision for you to reach. No.
I'm assuming they are just trying to they're just, I think I know what they're saying. I don't think it's worth
The conversation does continue for a good bit longer. Eventually, the guard just shrugs and keeps walking. You have sort of Nalani's study, like every window up here, like where you want a good look into every window eventually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, you check it every time for movement. She has only seen what appear to be goblin staff. She has not seen. She has not seen sign of the goblin we have encountered, the female goblin we've encountered that we assume to be Ordia.
Right.
You are to the point now where you have to roll to stay awake.
Well, if I'm at that point, maybe it's time to retreat then back to camp. I don't see what benefit I'll have by staying here and falling asleep. So I'm thinking if I cast teleport here, I guess they have magical charms on the manor, right? But I can't think of any reason they'd have it also out here in the woods.
Yes, just don't teleport without Nalani on your shoulder.
So I'm going to bring Nalani back to me. I'm like, it's time for bed, so we're going to try to go back to the campsite then.
Okay. Okay. Roll to.
Okay.
Oh, actually,
I'm going to wait and concentrate.
Say again.
I'm going to, make sure I concentrate and focus on the spell and prepare it. So we don't have to fumble here.
Why don't you roll something for me? Roll.
Sure. 19.
Okay. So any other thing? I'm trying to think any other conclusions you could reach just from what you've seen.
Yeah.
I should roll that.
If I know, like, if they're looking for a specific person, yeah.
There are several, I will say there are several meetings of staff that Nalani observes over the hours in which clearly confused servants are trying to get their head around whatever's going on.
Right.
There's clearly a lot of furrowed brows and slightly agitated gesturing, like, what is,
right.
What,
And no one like comes up or down the road during that time?
No, there are no visitors.
Okay. Just I wonder. I kind of wish I did listen to that conversation. I'm wondering if now there's actually some plan that they put into action I'm not aware of. You know what? Given that might be the case, maybe I do want to stay here and try to stay awake. Do I have any spells that would keep me awake? I don't think so. I have the sleep spell. Do I have the opposite of the sleep spell, Kevin? Is there an awake spell?
That's right. A buddy of mine.
Money peck at me to keep me.
Well, actually, it was my nephew, and he taught me a trick I hadn't heard of in college. The way that he would stay awake, and he and his buddies would stay awake class after a long night or a dumb night, however you want to put that. And so he said, what you do is you go to class with a bottle of water, and you fill your mouth with water and hold it in your mouth.
Huh.
Because then when your muscles start to relax and you sleep, you dribble on yourself and you wake up.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's really clever.
It's not bad, is it? I mean, it's messy, which I hate being messy. I don't like being wet and having stuff on me. But you can't fault the success of it, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's surefire. Yeah.
So
you get so tired that you're just like, and it just falls over, and you're really embarrassed. Yeah. No, we don't want to take any risks. We'll go back to camp. We'll teleport back just because I end up falling asleep here. That could be game over for
right. You drink the potion and then you just go to sleep, and you're just a sleeping, camouflaged.
Right.
Okay, so Nalani returns to you. It's got to be early. It's got to be early hours. It's well after midnight. Not exactly close to dawn, but you watched as good as you can, and hopefully now you'll sleep, and now you'll have a longer stretch tomorrow, right? And you might be able to make it to dawn.
Right.
Maybe I should just add potions, very cheap potions of wakefulness.
Yeah, no, it seems like a very useful thing.
Yeah. I don't know in like more modular games than this. Here, since we do play sort of hour by hour, right? Not necessarily minute by minute, but we do sort of play hour by hour. Sleep and eating and all that become more important. And so it's more useful here. And I wonder the degree to which it's useful in the other games. I don't know.
D&D, I can't remember if it has wakefulness, like your ability to resist sleep, but it has exhaustion, which is really cool because if you don't get a full rest, you get a level of exhaustion. And
Yeah.
each level of exhaustion you get is worse and worse effects. The very first level of exhaustion is all your ability checks are a disadvantage, which is terrible. So it really is like you don't want to stay up all night doing something like this.
Yeah.
Or it makes it very, very difficult, very risky to do that in a different
Right.
kind of way,
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of they approach the problem in a different way. But yeah, no, it's
Yeah,
tough.
not a bad one.
It's
Yeah.
tough for sure. It's hard to make a mechanic for that in role playing.
Yeah.
Okay. We have,
All right.
preparing
So
the
you're
towards.
gonna concentrate, right? So that gives you -5 to fumbles, and it gives you +25 for the roll.
All right, here we go. Teleport away. 92.
Whoa, no problem. And to aim.
Aim is 80. Beautiful.
Nice. Boom, you're back at camp. No
Okay.
evidence of anything being disturbed. Your horse is laying down and asleep. And so you, you are just, you throw out a bedroll and
E-
um, you don't, I mean, the weather's nice. You don't care. You just curl up by the fire and sleep. Is there anything you want to cast before you go to bed? Anything you want to do before
All
you
right.
go to
Yeah, I
bed?
would like to cast Disguise Camp. Forget about that. We could even
I
well,
imagine it's disguised.
disguise enough. Yeah, so you're probably right. Fraldrin probably did a good enough job. So, no, I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah, you fall right asleep. And all right, well, let's see how long you sleep. Um, all right, so why don't you give me your 3 rolls?
8,
Oh, weird.
26, and 86.
Okay. You wake up feeling better than you have in a long time. You almost feel like the curse is fading on its own because you just don't feel like you're improving. So maybe the curse has an expiration, a duration, and you're beginning to exceed that duration.
Curse is expired.
Curses.
I need to renew it.
Exactly. Renew your subscription. Oh, it's yeah. You got to renew your prescription to Hexflix, and get that handled. Um,
This is terrible.
this whole game is awful. So,
All right.
but you wake up disappointingly early. You have no dreams to speak of, and you really feel like you could. You woke up at a normal time. Basically, you rolled an 8, so you woke up much earlier than you should for a normal full sleep.
Oh,
But
I
that's
see.
probably just your body clock not yet being set. So you might just send Nalani for a swing around the place, make sure everything's kosher, and try
Mm-hmm.
to get more sleep.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll do that. Even let her hunt a little bit if she needs to, and then we'll curl up some more.
Yeah, she goes up. The fire remains unchanged.
Hmm.
And now that you're
You
laying,
know, as a Boy Scout who struggles to make fires, especially when it's damp, I'm like, I can really appreciate spells like that. They seem really simple, but it's like that's really nice.
yeah,
Of a fire you
and
never need to worry about.
the unseen part of it too is cool. But you see in the middle of the fire a small orb about the size of a baseball.
Oh, okay.
Of course, you wouldn't know what a baseball is, so it's a bossy ball. And
Or that a baseball is the size of a small orb you see in fires.
that's
Oh, that makes sense, Kevin. Okay.
just reverse the analogy.
Yeah.
She finds nothing of interest, but immediately catches a rabbit, and you're like, "Good girl, go nuts!" And so, after a good long bit of tossing and turning, trying to convince your body it's okay to sleep, you sleep.
All right.
So let's do another roll. Oh, excuse me.
65.
And again.
94.
Oh, interesting. You definitely have a dream.
You always do when you take naps, and it's like short periods of sleep. You tend to have dreams more. It's odd.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Or at least you
Um,
remember them more. Yeah.
the dream is it's clearly just you processing the struggle that's going on now.
Mhm.
It's Fraldrum features prominently in it, and you're struggling. There's a set of scales, and Miagral is jumping from one side of the scales to the other, just trying to keep them from sinking too far. There's some
Mm.
confused stuff, but Fraldrum sort of is always at your side, and that's kind of a comfort. So you wake up. It's mid afternoon now.
Right.
Um, you probably should have raced 2 meals.
Yeah. Probably as hungry as a dog.
Yeah,
Some of the food that caffeine provided me with.
sure. Not as good as your whey bread, but there it is. Eventually, I'm going to change all the rations to be culturally um, based.
Oh yeah, that'd be
So,
cool.
yeah, I think that'll be a fun little,
Yeah, cool names for all of them. Super rice. Well, wasn't that actually a thing? What was the super nutrient rich rice they tried to
Oh, I don't
try?
remember that.
I was some Department of Agriculture like you need to grow this rice, this genetically modified rice that this company developed, and we're going to make
Oh,
a lot.
yeah.
It totally like backfired. It was a terrible crop. God, I wish I remember the name of that. Yellow golden rice or something.
Oh, interesting.
Big in
Well,
like agriculture circles, but not big in like in the
yeah,
rest of
yeah.
the historical world. But anyway.
Well, the thing about from your agricultural studies, the triumph of dwarf wheat, right, in India.
Dwarf wheat? No, I don't know
Okay,
that.
I could explain it to you, but I think you would get a lot more joy just reading about it. But basically, it's a genetically modified wheat that basically prevented starvation in India because of monsoons. A taller wheat, when the monsoons come down, they get knocked down in the mud, and
Right.
it's too hard. They literally have to go through the field and pick up, restand each stalk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this was a shorter stalk that had the same yield, and
Right.
it was strong enough such that when it got knocked down, just natural processes would have it pop up.
Wow.
And it
You know what?
was
That does sound familiar. That like rings a bell. Like that idea of like it coming back up. I think I remember reference that. I'll read
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. So dwarf wheat, yeah, look at that. I mean, it's a great story. Although, I mean, yeah, my information is somewhat old, so maybe it's backfired. I don't know, but
Right.
um,
Right.
as of my last reading, it remained an enormous triumph.
Yeah.
Um, so, all right, what's your plan today? Do your ablutions and so on.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you still want to look good when you get killed by people.
Yep.
Um,
And I mean, honestly, I I guess I should go back at night, or I guess I just stay there the whole day. Really, is kind of what I want to do. So, I don't. That's what I don't know if it's like fun for stream or not, but I probably what Brees would do is just go back and as much as her patience allows, just watch as
well,
much as
we'll roll it by the hour and make it go
right,
fast. I
right.
mean, we try to do that anyway for anything in Karandrin
Yeah,
like that, whether it's just waiting or
and I need to remind myself how many days kind of am I assigned to.
was like at least 3.
Yeah. I must watch Ordea's residence. Some of Cash. to return by noon 4 days from now. So on April 3rd, and it's
Okay.
May 1st. So yeah, we'll just go back to that spot. Um, let's try to go straight to the road so I can take that same path, back to that good vantage point I had. Let's ignore Fraldrum's directions. I don't want to.
Well, that's
Because I know where the road is, right? Because I came last night with
you corrected too much basically from your last mistake is what you believe happened.
okay.
And so you needed to head north, and you realized that you were swinging around obstacles and so on, that it put you going
Right.
too far west, and then you corrected too far east and wound up on the road. So
Actually, maybe before I do go there, it would be good to tell. Well, no, I guess the two people I have stationed further up the road, right? They're really just kind of to watch anyone
well, they're to take to the jail anybody you get in custody.
prisoners. Yeah. So I mean, I could tell them about what I've seen, but probably better to actually, to keep observing, right? Because I don't want them to,
Well, and you've also got the problem of you really don't want them to catch any word.
knowing about Crown as well. Yeah, that's right.
Right. So you'd have to just remember to omit certain details. Otherwise, you could single handedly bring down Mia Girl, which is so weird.
Yeah.
I guess single handedly set in motion what brings her down.
Right. Tip the scales. Yeah. Okay. Well, then, yeah, we'll head back to the road and then take the path to the estate, and hopefully don't run into anything on the way.
Right. Yeah. Are you concerned at all about them adding defenses to the road?
I just thought about that. If I escaped into the woods, they might take an effort to add some defenses.
Do you want to parallel the road, keep it in sight?
Yeah, let's parallel the road. And then honestly, so which road am I on right now? Am I on the road to the estate or the road going alongside?
So there's the driveway, as we'll call it.
Driveway, yeah.
And so that's what you were on last night, where they put a very severe magical trap.
Right.
Which may still be present, you think?
Right. So what my plan is while I'm on the road, on the brush on the side of the road, once I get to the driveway, just do a detect magic there to see if the entrance, has anything set up, and then I can go from there.
So you cut south. Wow, I'm go ahead and roll for you. You get there, no problem.
Okay.
No visible traffic on the road. Milani, I guess, would be going out front, right?
Yes.
Do you want her to go? We're in a sort of a very touchy area, right? You need to be very cautious about telling me where she can cross and where she can't.
All right. I'm having her come up to that junction where the driveway is, but staying 50 feet away from, and then I'll put her back on my shoulder and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thanks for the reminder.
You're within sight of that now. Staying off the road and off the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
You're within. What's the range on detect magic?
Let me pull that up. Should have done that before. Sorry. So it is a tome, so I'd have to pull out my tome. And then where is it? Detect. Wait, is that the tome I gave? I don't have that anymore. Oh, there it is. Eyes of the Spirit. I don't know why. Yeah, level 6 from the tome.
We should have announced. I forgot to announce that. So Max and I did experience, and Max is level 11 now, and we still have a lot of experience to process and calculate. So he may even get a level 12. So you don't need your tome. You're level 11 unless is it higher than level 5.
Level 6 spell.
Oh my gosh!
Which you did on purpose. I bet you're like, these half magic users can't use this spell. They have to learn the tome.
All right.
Okay. Well, I do have to pull the tome. And
so it's level 10.
Yeah, so it's going to be 150-foot range, and then from there a 19-foot radius.
Okay.
So kind of just cast it right at the entrance to the driveway, 150 feet away.
Right. All right. So roll. We're using a scroll.
42.
That's all right. Not your greatest cast, but that's great. 7 exhaustion. You definitely magic there.
Okay. And can I see, like, is it just at the entrance of the road? It doesn't like bleed into the woods, or
Um,
from there?
the full radius of that, your full 19-foot radius on either side, detected magic in that entire radius.
Oh man, okay.
So there must be some other radius effect centered very close to where you centered your spell.
See, yeah. And I guess detect magic doesn't tell me if multiple enchantments or multiple magics are at play. Is that right?
The
Or I don't know that.
explanation, even in the tome, which will go into the detailed ideas of the spell, is
Right.
that as you get better and better at it, you get more and more information.
Okay.
And so, by the same token, then, like, he must have, when his clerical buddy cast Detect Demon, that guy is supposed to be really good at it.
Yeah.
And that must have confirmed, okay, what I can tell you, it's a very powerful demon, and it appears to be an ice lord.
Right.
And they're like, okay, what are the odds now that we're talking about 2 different demons?
So I'm going to cast detect magic 18 times until I
I
get
mean,
it.
seriously. I mean, you could keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
You could at least do it one more time and really focus in someone, and you would get those bonuses from just really focusing.
Right.
And hope you do it really well, and then you might get more information if it's relevant.
Well, you know what? I have time. I have PowerPoints, or I have exhaustion to spare. So let's try that. Let's try to, take my time, really cast it carefully, and see if I can figure out any more about the different types of magic that are overlapping. So
Right.
let's try that then.
All
So
right.
again from the tome, 48. Rolled 6 higher.
5 exhaustion. It is um, it is some long-term effect on that entrance which attempts to interfere with magic. And you're like, oh, so they march the paladins and the clerics
Yeah.
in column formation. They waltz right into that. And at Kralum's level, who knows? Of course, his influence may be limited presently. So it
Right.
might just be fairly powerful, not unimaginably powerful.
Yeah.
But they're hindered, they're hampered. Now, it didn't appear to affect you or Fraldrum.
Or Faldrum, yeah.
Oh, so maybe it went up last night.
Right. That was my first thought. Is yeah, they added some extra protection, and that's why I was so concerned about like
Yeah.
them adding other traps. Well, okay, interesting.
So it's kind of cool, right? They would have marched through, lost some abilities. Who knows if they would have known that they lost the abilities? Then gotten hit by that thing at the lantern posts, if you will, the lamp posts,
Right.
and then it tried to heal or protect themselves. That may have failed because of the earlier enchantment. I mean, they are playing for keeps, but clearly they're also, I mean, they're expecting trouble, but they seem to be expecting mass trouble coming down that road,
Yeah. Yeah.
which sounds like anti-cult, an anti-cult effort by the temple.
So what we'll do is again take the side of the road just even a little further. Maybe I'll walk.
The driveway.
Yeah, sorry, side of the driveway. Walk 50 paces away from the driveway, and then go into the woods there, and then cut toward the
I mean,
driveway.
Lonnie going high up, she can watch the whole thing, and you can just use it as a guide to get you to the manor.
There you go. Yeah, let's do that.
Um, and just keep her straight above you and away from the road, right away from the driveway. So yeah, you get there, no problem. No real evidence of anything unusual along the path. Make it to your former location. Um, there's another goblin, one that you've not seen before. Who is now taking the position of the guard. Roll for me.
2. That's twice as good as 1. Don't laugh.
So he seems to have a military bearing, and he seems to be tired. So maybe he's sort of propped up against the brazier thing. Though they have been allowed to die down, and he's got a sword, and he's just sort of propping it on the ground, and resting his hands, and he's just leaned up. And his head is, it's not like it's not like he's asleep, but he's just got his head down, just waiting. Like
He's getting there. Yeah.
He's not very attentive. He's not really on a march or a patrol or anything.
Okay.
There's still, every room is lit. They've had to replace the candles because now there are new candles in every room. Like there's no, unless they're all magical candles, right? Those are new candles.
Right.
Because I think candle lasts 4 hours, and so they've probably they've swapped them out several times. So it looks like
all candles.
This is true. It does depend on the height of the candle.
Yeah.
Those 60-foot candles, a bitch to light
for hours.
That's right. Burn for months.
Okay. So I'll assume my post and be scouting the area, and this might be a good time to stop.
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, I didn't know if you were eager and wanted to press on, but yeah, it's a convenient time to stop. Yeah. So all right. Well, so there you go, gang. We some interesting developments in what's happening. Some interesting stuff. We will certainly see what happens next week. Remember, that's going to be a Thursday, the 20th. Is that right, Max? Is that what you said?
That is right.
The 20th on the Thursday. So we're gonna get that schedule changed here in the next couple of days on the website. But as always, thanks for watching. We really do appreciate it. I realize I've not been saying, hey, like our videos and subscribe and all that. I've not been saying that, but I figure it's part of the culture now. You know what to do. But the rest of the spiel is fun to say, so I'll say it. If you think we're doing a good job, hop over to donorbox.org/keep us streaming and let us know that you like what we're doing and send us a little love. If you'd like to spend more time with Max and listen to his wonderful voice, and he does have a wonderful voice, then he's got his own YouTube YouTube channel where he discusses the roles of music and original soundtracks in video games. So go give him some love. Thanks as always to Elliot Dunovitz for their terrific character art that we use every stream. We really appreciate it. If you want to see more of their work, you can go to artstation.com/Tortolua. And I've written a novel that I'm pretty happy with, and I hope you check it out on Amazon and give it a read. But there you go. I think we've had a good time. Catch us next Thursday. And Max, say goodbye to the lovely people.
Oh man, yeah, it was a good session. I had a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoyed it too, and see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys.